Today I am going to work on a design team project for the Recycled Parts for Art group. Recycled Parts for Art is a group on Facebook hosted by Jeri Bellini. She also has an Etsy store where she is selling recycled parts that you can use in your art. So I have in this box some items that she sent to me to play with. And I've chosen for this project this book. Now, I can't tell you how many times I have even mind mapped this book, trying to figure out what I was going to do with it. I came up with a lot of good ideas, but in the long run, after I went around and around and around, I came back to making a journal. But I'm going to do a journal with a twist. So I hope that you enjoy watching this process. What I have is the book, and she sent along this huge, I call it a land plat. It's a map. Let me open it up here. This, of course, will be pages in the book. But look at this. And look at the wonderful discoloration along the seam here. Isn't this wonderful? And really, it's a topological map. I call it a plat. Sinkholes and karst-related features of Franklin County. I may use some of this brown sack paper that she used to wrap things in. I have a couple pieces of that left. Here's some more pages of the book. Now, these items are items that I really haven't planned to use on the book, but as I work in my journal, I will be putting these inside of pages in the book. Studio items like scissors, an E6000, a bone folder, pliers to get the cap off. I have some paint that I'm going to be gessoing the cover with. I will probably use some sandpaper here to rough up the cover before I paint on it. Then I have some items that I have around that I'm going to use. Some crayon pencils, some of these cheap, I shouldn't say cheap, they're cheaper, they're children's scissors. You might check with Jeri to see if she has any of these available in her store. I'll be using these. You'll need some E6000, old pencils and paint brushes that you no longer use, an old wooden ruler, and I have some buttons and some charms. I know Jeri has a lot of beading supplies out in her shop, because Jeri used to own a bead shop. So there would be a good resource for charms and beads and those types of items. Also, I have some fabric. I'm going to use some fabric scraps. Now, I probably won't use all of this. This is just what I pulled to go through as I'm working on the book. I have some old jeans that I tore up. Of course, I won't use it all. I might use the pocket. The pockets would be fun, wouldn't they? So look for these types of things. A broken zipper. And then I just have some other fabric scraps, whatever you have around. I have some leather scraps. And then I just have some cut items that I use for other projects. I may or may not use these. Just depends on where I go with it. So let's get started. I'm going to go into fast forward. I will do a voiceover to explain to you what I'm doing as it happens. If you have any questions, post in the comments below. I'll try to answer them the best that I can. But most importantly, go out and check Jeri Bellini, Recycled Parts for Art. Check the link in the description box below. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. I start by disassembling the cookbook, sanding down the front and the back cover, wiping off the pieces, and then I just use a black craft paint to paint the cover. Now I'm going to work on the inside, front and back cover, and since I don't want to use that beautiful 1906 paper that I got from Recycled Parts from Art, I get out our Daily Tribune. This is actually today's paper, and I'm just collaging bits and pieces of our Daily Tribune in the front and the back cover. I just love that attention there. Attention, this is going to be a Recycled Parts for Art journal. Now I'm working on the back cover, tearing out pieces. There goes the Tribune. That's what's on the inside. Here comes the opinion headline. Opinion. And we proudly honor our 4-H youth, area 4-H youth, and I got the 4-H clover coming up here. I really do like how this is starting to come together, and you'll see that I do clean up all those edges. I just let the collage fall over the edge, and then I'll take a knife and clean them up. Now I get out this beautiful, beautiful jacquard gold paint that Kat Hand sent me, and she said, "Meri, paint your world gold." So I did. And look here, I have the back of that jeans pocket. I'm going to glue it to the back of this journal using Yes Paste. I do put wax paper inside of the pocket so I don't glue the pocket to itself. And I'm attaching it with Yes Paste and E6000. I have a part of a broken zipper that I'm going to attach to the top there as a decorative element. Here's a piece of cotton plaid that I'm going to put as background in the front. I don't care if it's frayed, all the better, let it fray. This is some Eclectic Elements fabric from Tim Holtz. I really do like that lady there. It just adds a Recycled Parts for Art to my art journal. And look, more gold paint. Meri, paint your world gold. I want to see how you use it. That's what Kat Hand told me, so I am using it. I'm using it on my Recycled Parts for Art journal. I really do love how this cover is coming together. Lots of gold paint. Really happy with that. Now I'm going to cut some pages to go inside of my art journal. This project is not so much about the paper that goes inside of the art journal. It's more about the cover. However, I do need paper in an art journal, so I am using different papers that I have around. You can see I have a mind map template. I went to the library. I wanted it on 2 sides, and it took me a while to figure that out at the copy machine. So I have some scrap pieces left over, so they fit very nice in this Recycled Parts for Art journal. Why throw them away if you can use them? Cutting everything down to size. This is some brown wrapping paper that came in the design team package that Jeri sent. It has to go inside of this journal. Some newspaper. And then I decided, yes, I'm going to have some wax paper pages, so I cut those down to size. Some paper from the cookbook itself, and then I'm just cleaning up the edges of the pages to make me a nice signature. Now I decide that I need a title page to this journal, so I take one of those cookbook pages where I've scraped off paint when I did the cover, and oh look, more gold paint. Yes, I have to have gold paint on the title page, of course. So I'm just doing a light gold wash across the page, drying it up, and these are some stickers that I got at the thrift store. They're the right size, RP, there's no 4, so I had to get out my fine line paint applicator, and I painted me a nice big 4, Recycled Parts for Art. Now I just embellish the edges, put some embellishing dots on there. You'll see I'll be doing more to this page later. This is not the end of it. Of course not.
I decided I needed some gold splatters. Oh yes, that's delicious. I like this. Perfect. But not done yet. Now I'm working on the cover of this art journal, and for me, that is what this video is all about. I'm using E6000 to attach recycled parts for art. Colored pencils, some Scotty buttons, this wonderful pair of scissors that I have, and some old paint brushes, an old ruler. Yes, this is a recycled parts for art journal. Now the lighting faded out on me here, but what I'm doing is making some bobby pin embellishments out of some cards that were in the design team package. I'm gluing down a tag that Jeri sent and a beaded snowflake on the title page, and I add some more gold paint. I'm really happy with that title page. Now I'm assembling the art journal. I'm assembling it Midori style. I'm using some folder bands, putting in the embellishments, and I'll do a flip through at the end.
Here is my finished journal. I am going to call this my Recycled Parts for Art journal. This is where I'm going to record and talk about the Recycled Parts for Arts projects that I do. I already have completed about 4 projects for Recycled Parts for Art. This one being the 4th one, and I am so happy with how this turned out. This was so fun to do. Now, because I used E6000 to glue these down, the glue needs to cure. This needs to set. It is strong enough. It has a strong enough bond to hold it while I'm talking about it, but I need to just set this aside and let it dry for overnight, 2 or 3 days. Colored pencils, an old ruler, an old paintbrush, another old paintbrush. This one, the bristles are still good on it. A pair of scissors. How fun is this? This is fabric from Tim Holtz. I kind of lost the other fabric in there, but it's there if you look really close. There's some of that plaid fabric. And on the back is that pocket where I can put my CD in there. I'm going to record the videos that I've done for Recycled Parts for Art, put them on a CD and put them in this pocket. Some more Tim Holtz fabric that I just had sitting around from another project that I was working on. Now this project is really all about the cover. However, you cannot make a journal without putting pages in it. And I decided for the first page what I wanted to do was a Recycled Parts for Art page. And that's what this is, RP4A, Recycled Parts for Art. And this is the thank you tag that Jeri sent to the design team members. And this will just remind me of Jeri, and she sent this little beaded snowflake. And here again, I glued this down with E6000, so that really needs to set and cure. It's still not set yet. Over on this side, on the facing page, on the front and the back, I collaged down paper that I tore out of our daily newspaper because I did not want to tear out of the 1906 one that I got from Jeri. But I like it because it says attention, and there's some ads in there. There's a part of a picture, some text, and the same thing on the back cover. This really says opinion, but it looks like Indian. $4. There's an IN. I can see a part of Hastings. I think this was Tribune. Contest breaks new ground. proudly supporting our 4-H youth. A little part of a 4-H sign there, the fun at something or other. So I really like how that turned out, and of course I used that beautiful, beautiful gold that Cat Hand sent me. And I used that on my title page too. And then when you go through the pages, of course I'll be journaling on these pages, but I took some of those cards that Jeri sent in the design team package. You might check to see if she has some of these cards on her website, but I made some of my bobby pin embellishments where all I do is punch 2 holes in there in the card. Let me take it out and show you. You just punch 2 holes in the playing card vertically, and then you take a long bobby pin, and I use the short end of the bobby pin to go through from the back. So on the underside, up through the top side, and then back down through the back side. Then you can push it all the way down, and you don't have to glue it. That little part of the card holds it in place. So I have papers here for my bobby pin embellishments. I can just put them on my pages. This is the map that she included. Great big long map. I cut it down to size, so I have that in there. I have some TV scheduling here. Back side of the maps. And this, even though it's fun to have all these different papers in here, this project is really not about the papers that I'm putting in here, except for the map that I got from Jeri. But it's fun to have different types of papers in your journal. This is from a paper sack that Jeri had wrapped things up on, and it says, "My thanks to you." And she drew a little heart. So I'll keep that as a reminder of the work that I did for Recycled Parts for Art. Here's one of my mind maps. I put a bobby pin embellishment placekeeper there so that I can turn to my mind map if I want to mind map something, like how to convert a Betty Crocker book. Here is some of the pages from the Betty Crocker book. Wax paper, paper sack, and then I'm at the center and it go back. Now I used a big, they call them folder bands. They are large rubber bands. I get them at the office supply section at Walmart. And that is what I'm using to attach the binding here. I'm doing it Midori style. I really am finding that I do enjoy Midori style binding in my journals because I can take these papers out and work with them loose leaf and then put them back in. So you will see me doing a lot of that in 2018. But I'm very happy with how this journal has turned out. Just a lot of fun to create it. And I really like this pocket on the back. This is just an old pair of jeans that was going to get thrown out. A fun project to do. Go out and check Recycled Parts for Art. There's a channel on YouTube, and Jeri has a Linktree link, and I put it in the description box below. Be sure and go out and check Jeri Bellini's Recycled Parts for Art Etsy store. There are a lot of fun items that can be utilized in creating mixed media and altered art projects. This journal will certainly be a keeper for me. How fun it was to do this. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next page.